Welcome to Out of the Stacks. We're just two friends who love books and love talking about them even more. Each month, we'll have a theme that we talk about with books and pop culture.
Then we'll rant about the world and, of course, we'll get sidetracked and go on tangents about anything. But we promise you a good time and laughter.
Welcome to Out of the Stacks. This is Amanda.
And Carla.
And we are talking about the evolution of YA books.
Yes. And I would like to point out, we're in the same room.
Yes, we are in the same room. Woohoo! It was weird. We were talking about, okay, when are we going to do this podcast? What date? What time? And you said, we could do it in the same room. And I was like, we can. Yeah, we can. It's weird. It
is weird.
The fourth time?
Maybe the fourth
time doing this in the same room.
Uh-huh.
And it's weird.
Uh-huh.
It's strange. I don't know how to talk to you looking at you, so I might
Don't look at each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might shade my eyes. And...
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about the evolution of YAs.
Yeah.
How they...
And kind of like our feelings about the evolution of YA. How our tastes and interests have changed too.
Yeah. It started with, we are part of a book club, the YA book club, and the past, since January, and this is July.
Yes.
It's just been you and I in the book club. And so...
And we do talk about the book.
We do talk about the book.
Yeah.
And the past, maybe the second to last book club, we said, what can we do to generate interests? Should we change the format? Whatever. And we came up with the idea of, well, when you, Carla, first started the book club, you were kind of in the YA age range, and that was nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to see if I could figure out exactly how many years it's been. It's been a lot of years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years. And so we've kind of aged out of YA. Yeah. I am my toes are on the line of 40. So I really am not in the YA range.
Yeah.
And so we kind of redid the book club as a millennial book club.
Yes.
Not just reading YAs, but also just general fiction,
whatever we
nonfiction,
want to read.
Whatever.
Yeah. So when I started the book club, it was because I was working at a circulation desk in the library, and I saw a lot of adults, women older than I was, and I was like 24, 25 at the time. I saw a lot of women checking out YA books, and I was like, okay, so it's more than just me. There are more people than just me that enjoy reading YA, even if they are technically not a young adult anymore. And so I gave it a shot, and it was really popular, like right off the bat. I think also part of that was, even though none of our other book clubs had like age restrictions, nobody came to those book clubs if they were still working. Like, it was only like retired people. And so that, I feel like, kind of turns people off. So when I started this book club, I set age restrictions, which, like, I had been to library conferences where they tell you, like, oh, the worst thing you can do is restrict it to a certain age, because it's great having different age groups in the same book club. No, it's not. I don't know who these people are, but they're lying. No, so it worked really well for a while. And I think a lot of the people who came first were just like younger people who were looking for a book club and wanted to join a book club with people the same age as them. But we've evolved, and I don't know what has happened. I mean, I think the pandemic didn't help, although when we started it back up last year as a virtual book club, we had a couple new people join us, like, right away.
We did. Yeah.
And one girl came to, like, I don't know, half dozen meetings.
Yeah.
She's disappeared now, which is a little disappointing. So I don't know. I feel like we're limiting ourselves by only reading YA. I don't want to call it the YA for Adults Book Club anymore, but I still want to restrict ages.
Yeah.
I don't want to make just another book club. I want it to be for younger people. So Yeah, so that we thought this would be a good topic of discussion for today's podcast about why we think we aren't interested in YA as much as we were. Like, is it us? Is it the books? I think it's kind of both.
Yeah, I think it's both.
But I find myself personally gravitating more towards just adult, and I'm using air quotes, adult fiction.
Yes.
Than young adult fiction. I don't know. So one thing I think it is, and we can maybe stick to this topic for a little bit, I think YA is very, like, genre-driven.
Yes.
Like, it'll go through phases. So probably when you and I really started reading it, it was Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what got us back into... Some people say Harry Potter. I wouldn't necessarily call Harry Potter young adult.
Correct. I wouldn't put Harry Potter in the young adult.
I feel like it's a category all its own.
Yes.
But I feel like Twilight was as good or as bad as you think it is, and I don't think it's that great.
Yeah.
I feel like Twilight was the one that really drew people in, and so then they wanted more things like Twilight. So
like
there were
the supernatural, vampires. Vampires were a huge thing.
Vampires, werewolves, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it goes through these phases of these different genres, and I'm not sure what the genre is right now, but I know that I'm not interested.
Yeah. It was, for a long time, the vampires, the werewolves, the super romanticizing of vampires, werewolves, vampires not coming to you and killing you, sucking your blood, but the romancing of them for YAs. And then it had a quick left turn into dystopian.
Yeah.
With Hunger Games, Divergent.
Mm-hmm.
There was a third one.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. And I feel like also, like, for those authors, like, there's a very short period of time in which they can make their money.
Yeah.
Because the phases go by so quickly. So, like, Stephanie Meyer, what has she done since Twilight? Like,
she's done a couple adult ones, but nothing that is as huge as Twilight.
Yeah. And then Veronica Roth, like, I know she wrote Carve the Mark, which I think was good. Have you read it?
No.
I did enjoy it. It was very different. So I think she's onto something there, but it's, she's not going to experience that same level of instant fame. Mm-hmm. And I hope that for her and, other authors like her, that, like, they are really good at managing their money, because...
Yeah. I think she had such a success and then really hit a downfall with the third one.
Yeah.
And that there was that period that she didn't write anything, and she just has become lost in history. That even if she wrote such a successful novel or a series, that it's not going to take off.
No, it's not. It's not going to be the same. Maybe that's good too, because I think she had a really hard time after those books, and maybe I've talked about this before. So Allegiant, that's the last one, right?
Yes.
So there were a lot of errors
in
that final printing because they rushed the process so much, and, like, people were really critical, and so she wrote a blog post about, like, I don't like these errors either, but I was forced to write this so quickly that there was no time to fix these. And so, like, I suppose as an author, you take advantage of the fame. Like, you take the money while the money's there.
Yeah.
But, like, do you feel good about it?
I bet she doesn't.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think still today, fantasy is a huge
YA.
And fantasy as in elves and dwarves, kind of the Tolkien-esque. But it's more... I mean, that's still a really popular genre, and I think that's lasted longer than the supernatural dystopian. But with the elves and... I mean, I don't even know what kind of fantasy, that's what I was going... Fantasy, they're mixing fantasy with modern reality. You know,
Yeah.
kind of mixing that over. Alternate realities, like it's today's world, but, you know, fantasy is part of today's world.
Yeah, like somebody figures out or finds out that they're like an elf,
Yes.
half elf or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's maybe why fantasy is lasting longer, because it's still the main genre, but it's kind of evolved into this other sort of thing. And
I think fantasy too, like just in general, like, you know, we have a whole sci-fi fantasy section in the library.
Yeah.
We segregate our books.
Yes.
Yeah, not in children's and YA, but adult, you know, we separate those books out. And so maybe that's just like one of those genres that's always going to be cool.
Maybe it has more topics.
I don't know.
You know, like elves, dwarves, magic, you know, sci-fi, space, you know, alien. You know, there's just more than, you know, dystopian, the world's ending.
Yeah.
Supernatural. You know, it's
and maybe
more
it's because you can just, like, make it up.
Yeah, that too. That too. But,
well, I like fantasy.
I love fantasy. That's one of the things that keeps me in YA.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really good YA fantasies.
Yeah. What are you sick of in YA? Because I have some things that I feel like are overdone.
What am I sick of in YA? I mean, I don't know, because I avoid it.
I avoid it too, but just like in reading synopses and, like, you know, looking at catalogs and stuff, like, I'm so tired of, like, contemporary romances that are just, don't get me wrong, I love the Hallmark Channel, but I don't need to waste time. Like, I read a lot of books. I'm picky about what I'm gonna read, so if it's just like some cheesy romance, like, I'm not gonna take the time.
Yeah, I always have avoided contemporary romance, even with adults. You know, because at least if I do a historical romance, I'm learning about that time period. Yeah. That's at least I can do that.
Or I like something with more meat to it. Like, it can be a romance, but, like, not a paperback, you know, mass market thing. Like, something interesting. Because I've read some good ones. There are some good ones. I feel like there are, and maybe they would be classified as new adult. Like, I read this one called The Cactus. It's British, I think, is better. Like, these are, like, you know, trade paperbacks. Yeah. And that one was maybe on Reese Witherspoon's book club. Shout out Reese Witherspoon. I love your book club. I think
so, yeah.
So I feel like that's a good thing. I also do think maybe I'm getting too old. Yeah. For YA.
Yeah.
Finally.
I think so. A lot of the YAs I avoid, just the generic plain romance. Even when I was a teen and in YA prime ages, I don't want to read about teen romances. No. Even back when I was teen romance age. You know, I'm okay with adult romances, but I don't know. I always kind of gravitated away from them. I don't know why.
I don't know.
So maybe I'm sick of teen romances.
Yeah, maybe I think that's what I'm most sick of in YA. I don't know. I'm still gonna be interested in, like, some of the fantasy series, but honestly, I don't read that much. I don't, other than book club, because we're finishing out the year. Yes. I don't really read much YA.
No, the only YA that I read other than book club is Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, and can we call her YA anymore?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. This is just a Sarah J. Maas fan podcast now.
Yes, pretty much. We are making an official announcement. This is going to be called now the Sarah J. Maas podcast. But
Hashtag we love Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, pretty much. And Angie Thomas.
Yes.
She's the other one.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Her. I will read her.
There is one thing I do want to say positive about the newer YA books, as they have become more diversified in their reach of groups. They are LGBTQIA friendly. Mm-hmm. They are hitting all the minorities and just anything, the sexuality, gender fluid, just everything under the sun is in a book now. And I really appreciate that. You know, when we were teens, you know, in the 90s, early 2000s, it was white folks, cis hetero, and that was it.
McDaniel.
Yep. Sweet Valley High.
And I love me some Lurleen McDaniel, but the most diverse she got was she had a couple Amish characters.
Ugh. No, I never read one of her books.
Oh, you
never.
You should.
I shelved them because I was a page in the children's, and I would take a look at them and I'd be like, gross. Just shelve them, and I'm like, never would I ever open one of these.
Yeah, well, okay, getting off track here, but the thing I will never read that I had to, like, shelve and check in and whatever is those stupid supernatural, they're like J-fiction with the cats on them.
Animorphs?
No, the author.
Aaron Hunter.
Yes, you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
So I
I didn't read those either.
My friend Katie, who works at one of the branches, has a book club for like middle school, grade school, and she sent me a text, and she was like, "I just want to let you know this was not my decision. The kids really wanted to read this, but our next book club pick is one of these books with a cat on it." I don't get it. No. Maybe I should read one. It's never going to happen. But maybe if I read one, I'd be like, oh, I get it. But I doubt it.
Yeah, because they
look really awful.
Yes, because they're all...
There's like...
mostly cats. I think there's a dog series.
Maybe. I don't get it.
I don't know. But yeah, she has...
okay.
Oh, so many in that series.
When I was like in 4th grade or whatever, there was that Pony Pals series. But they had like a bookmark that you could punch out in the back. Yeah. But
even Pony Pals...
It wasn't like about supernatural cats.
Yeah, I'm going to say, it wasn't about horses. It was about girls riding.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for supernatural and stories about animals being characters, but those, no. Not ever a whisper in my soul to read those. I always was like, another one of these? I don't have space on my shelves.
Yeah. Also, do you think Aaron Hunter is a real person?
Probably not.
I doubt it. It's probably like Caroline Keene. Or Carolyn Keene. Which, like, spoiler alert, any of you who were under the impression that Nancy Drew was written by Caroline Keene, fake person, don't know who it is.
It's like Richard Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Boxcar Children, the first 19 were written by Gertrude Chandler Warner. Then she died. So the other 5,000 are by, I don't know. The ghost of Gertrude. Yeah, I don't know. And also, okay, so again, getting off track here. Boxcar Children. I love them. I wanted to
live in a boxcar.
Me too.
I mean, who wouldn't?
We could go spend the night in a train at Wildlife Fairy Park.
Yes.
It's on my list.
Yes.
Anyway.
We're doing it next weekend.
I think I'm busy, but yeah.
Well, not in the middle of July or August. Let's do some more when it's cooler.
Yeah, September.
Yeah.
October.
Okay.
October works. Maybe. Pretty leaves? Yeah, okay. Anyway, so like the ones that she did, right? The characters like aged, you know, because like Benny started out at like 5 or 6 years old, and then he got up to all the way to like 8 or 10 or something, and like, you know, Henry started at like 14 and he was like 18. Well, then when she died, they took him back to the ages they were in the first book, and like they're just perpetually those ages.
Well, it's because Ghost Gertrude is writing, and she doesn't age because she's a ghost, so the characters don't age. It's simple enough.
Yes.
This is a strange tangent.
We're way off topic, but it's fine.
I don't know where I saw it or whatever, but it was something that said, like, do ghosts have teeth? And it was like, and it was a strange big thread on Reddit about, like,
Oh, but
yeah,
why?
Yeah, and like, well, if you see so-and-so video, there's a ghost that smiles and there's teeth, but then there's something, another person said, well, they're like corporeal beings, they don't have bones, so they don't have teeth. And then another person said, their ghosts are fake, so there's no such thing. Like, of course they don't have teeth, they're not real. And it was the whole thing, like, anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Back to YA.
Yeah. You made notes. I didn't make notes.
I'm
just... I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm hoping that by changing our book club format, we get people to join us again, but I don't know. Like, is it the perception of it's YA for adults and we don't want to read YA anymore? Or do people just not like me?
I don't think that people don't like you.
Do I need to be more prepared?
No, I think the problem was we took a break in December because it's a holiday and we've always taken a break. And I just think, that was, a hard thing and people... But, you send a reminder that...
I do.
I don't know.
Do we need to start meeting in person again? Because I sent out an email to everybody, and I was like, hey, let me know if one way or another, let me know if you want to start meeting in person or if you want to keep meeting on Zoom. I got 0 responses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did I send this to no one?
Maybe. I got the email, so...
You didn't respond.
Well, that's because we talked about it. It was half my idea.
I know.
So I didn't think I needed to reply.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like none of these people are coming to book club again, but they just don't want to tell me, so they're not responding.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the ones that you have a personal connection to, maybe text them or email them personally instead of like a group email.
We're going to start going to trivia again in August.
Yes. So excited.
I know. I feel like we need to get there super early to get a table.
Yes. I'm going to be there at 4:30.
Like, maybe I can, because I know Courtney who runs trivia.
Yes.
I know her, through the library and stuff now. So I feel like maybe I should send her an email and be like, Courtney, can you save us a table, but not one of the tall ones, because we're all short.
Yes, I hate those tall tables.
Me too. Anyway, there's a lot of tangents.
This is what happens when we're in person.
Maybe Emily, who does trivia with us, we'll invite her back to trivia. Yeah. And
say, Emily, why
aren't you coming to book club?
Why didn't you reply to my email?
Do you not like me? What's...
Do you not like me? Do I smell? I was
Did
on
I
Zoom, so you... Yeah.
Did I do something wrong?
I think she just got really busy with her job.
Probably. And
she was...
That's what I'm reminding myself of too, that the world is crazy.
Yes.
So.
And Michelle,
yeah, we can say first names.
Yeah, Michelle, she had those soccer meetings.
Yeah, I know. She has kids.
Yeah, that too. Why do people have children? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Such drains on their times and energy.
Nothing tying me down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think just if you email those people that you know and just, say book club wasn't working. Yeah. We're just trying this new thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there have been so many books. Okay, so bringing it back. There have been so many books that I'm like, oh, this would be great for book club. It's not YA. Can't do it for book club. Mm-hmm. So I feel like by changing the name and the purpose and changing the criteria for book club, I feel like it's going to open us up to better books to discuss. Because since YA is so trend driven, it's hard to find books that are good enough to discuss.
Yeah.
Because you can't discuss a contemporary romance.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Unless you hate it, then, like, if everybody hates it,
yeah,
then you can talk about how much you hated it.
And you don't know that when you're picking the book, if it's going to be awful.
Yeah. So the YA books we've been picking, we've really had to, like, search, kind of, to find. So we just read one that was Revolutionary War female spy.
Yeah, I like that one.
I did like that. I did not know about that there was a female spy in George Washington's spy network, and, like, no one knows what her real name was, and, like, so that was cool. That was called Rebel Spy by Veronica Rossi. Look at me pulling that out of nowhere. And this month we're reading We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi.
Yeah.
Which is about teens in Japanese internment camps during World War II.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one.
I haven't read it yet.
Well, it's a quick read. It looks thick, but it's not really.
Okay. I'm so bad at, like, I never know when the perfect time is to start the book club book.
What's the date? Oh, it's next week, isn't it?
Yep. I haven't even put it on hold. There's probably a copy in the library.
You probably should start.
I should
tomorrow.
start reading it, yeah.
It's not that quick of a read.
Yeah.
But it's not like it'll take you weeks.
I know. Because, like, I don't want to start it too early and then I've forgotten stuff by the time book club comes around. But I always seem to start it just, like, a day or two too late. And then I'm, like, eating supper right before book club, finishing the book.
Well, the story is of 14 kids.
Well, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah. Who are first generation Japanese Americans. So their parents have immigrated to America from Japan, and they all been interned in the camps. And so each chapter is a story from each kid.
Cool.
And so you have a lot of different viewpoints of these camps from each of the kids. And it's a really good story. I mean, it's cool. Like I said, quick read. Yeah. Even though it looks really fat. It's a fat book, but...
So is it like 14 chapters then? One chapter for each kid, or is it...
I would say it's 20 chapters, because they have a couple before they get interned, and there's a couple after, you know, so... But.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's just harder to... There's so many good adult books. I feel like the adult authors can just write whatever they want to write. And so it's, like, better.
Yeah.
And I feel like YA authors have to... If you want to get published in YA, you have to, like, check off a certain box. Like, you can't just write whatever you want to write, because no one's going to buy that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with today's YA, why we aren't finding many YA books that we like is with the representation that is out there. I don't think we relate a lot to the, you know, trials that these teens are going through. Yeah. You know, so, I mean...
I'm not a minority.
Yeah.
I'm not. And there is value in reading those books, even if you don't relate. But, I don't know.
Like, On the Come Up, not On the Come Up, also that one, but The Hate You Give.
Awesome book.
And we both really love that book and think everybody should read it. And like you said, that has value in reading that.
It does, yeah.
You know, we don't relate to any of that book. But I think with the different representation and sexuality and minorities and all the different representation, that it's become harder to find things that we enjoy or...
And it, you know, like, as white, non-minority people, there have always been books that we relate to, so maybe we take that for granted. Yeah. And so it's great that there are books that any kid can find a book that they relate to now, or hopefully they can. But I don't know. Like, maybe it's just too diverse. That's not a bad thing, but like, it's a crowded market, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like you said, for a book club, you need to find something that we can talk about. You can't just pick a romance or like a graphic novel or, because last year, I think it was October, November, we read Pumpkinhead by Rainbow Rowell. And it was a great one. It was a diverse, it was fun to read, but like there was literally nothing we could talk about.
Yeah.
It was like...
Maybe that was my downfall.
Maybe, there we go. That's
I just want an answer.
Yeah. And so it's hard to pick. And so I think the adult world would offer more options. I mean, there's still going to be pitfalls and finding a book that, there was nothing to talk about, but, I don't know. I mean, we'll still read YAs.
Yeah, like if there's like a super awesome book that we want to read, I'm picking it up for sure.
Yeah.
And I, like, maybe there is a need for the YA for Adults Book Club, but I'm not the person to lead it anymore.
Yeah.
Because, my heart's not in it. I'm not excited about it anymore. So, I think this is the right move. And, like, everybody who I talked to is like, I'm thinking about doing this. They were like, yeah, it's a great idea. Like,
yeah.
So,
and there's not really a book club that is just our age, millennials,
right,
sadly middle age, approaching middle age. I mean,
right, yeah.
If we shift the age requirement,
maybe we should call it like a Made in the 80s book club or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, because this is something we also discussed a lot, is what should we call it? Yeah. And I think you said millennial. And then I started Googling, and there are a lot of libraries that have a millennial book club. Yeah. So maybe that's the way to go. I don't love it, though.
Yeah. I'm not sold on it. I'm not tied to it.
I don't know. Like, Lisa Frank book club? Would that, like...
that, to me, would be, like, romance,
Unicorns.
Right? I do love unicorns.
National animal of Scotland.
Every book has to have a unicorn.
Yeah.
Talk about handcuffing yourself. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to call it.
I don't know. We're taking suggestions.
Yes.
From our listeners.
Yes. I don't know. We'll work on it. We still have, I would say the end of the year, but it's probably going to, need to know.
I just did the August calendar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll do the thesaurus.
Yeah.
Thesaurus. What's a synonym for millennial?
We'll crowdsource it.
There you go. Yeah.
Put it out on the interconnected Webernets or whatever.
Yep. We have people to ask.
Yeah.
We have friends.
Is that something you put on Reddit? I don't know. I don't use Reddit.
Me neither. Maybe
I could put it... Okay. So I'm not going to name the group because I don't want to offend anyone who could possibly be listening, but I am a member of a Facebook group. I will say that it is for librarians.
Okay.
Here's the worst thing that happens in this group. People submit a question because I need a catchy title for my program. No one cares.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm having a craft program where we're going to make necklaces with beads, and I was thinking of calling it, I'm just making this up, but like, I was thinking of calling it such and such or such and such, but does anyone have a great idea? And then people will respond and give their ideas, and I'm like, why are you responding to this person? Just call it DIY necklace or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, here's the other thing that people will do. My director wants me to have a program tomorrow for senior citizens, and it needs to be a craft, or we need to discuss a movie, whatever. Does anyone have any ideas? Well, no, I'd say you're screwed because it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like the worst kind of librarian because I don't care about a lot of stuff. I don't care about a lot of trends. I'm not going to do, like, Like, the idea of not putting an age limit on your book club. Absolutely, I'm going to put an age limit on my book club.
We don't want Granny McPhee coming to
No, because I feel like that just ruins the conversation. It makes people uncomfortable. Like, we had a boy come once.
Oh, well, that's
Were you around?
No. I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, it was fine. He came with someone else. And I think part of the problem was we were at a restaurant. Like, that was, like, one time when we went to a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And so it was really hard to discuss. Yeah. And then he didn't come back. Oh. But I was like, some of the regulars, I was like, guys, be cool. There's a boy here. And then he never came back. And so sometimes we still talk about that. Like, remember when that boy came?
God, we're a bunch of nerds.
I haven't limited it by gender. Yeah. Like, I don't care if boys come.
I don't know if it's a female idea to go to a book club.
Maybe. Unless, like, we have a biography and nonfiction book club, and that does have a lot of men in it.
Yeah, I would think so.
But they're mostly retired. So, not for the younger people. Also, the books they read, I don't want to read. They're like, talk about thick books.
Yeah. The tax credit book, the landlord form, what's that? NOLA book, that white. Anyway.
Like city statutes.
Yep.
And I don't know what they read, like
Great Lakes books.
Yeah, they read like all these, like, there'll be like a really specific topic. Like, it'll be a whole, like, here's an example. My mom, we went on vacation. We were like in this nature store, and there was a book about mosquitoes. It was like this huge book about mosquitoes. And like, that's something the biography and nonfiction book club would read. Like, a big in-depth study of mosquitoes. Like, nope.
So if you're having trouble sleeping, join the nonfiction book club.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great.
They have a really good group.
Yeah.
And it's like a big group, and they discuss a lot. So it's great for them. Like, everyone needs their own kind of book club. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to create.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, now that we've discussed books somewhat, let's talk about YA TV shows and the evolution.
Ooh.
Well, when we were teens, or in the 90s, it was like Blossom, Boy Meets World,
Step by
Step, Wonder Years, Saved by the Bell. You know, they were very upbeat, cheery, bright,
Hanging with
colors.
Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper,
Yes.
Full House,
Family Matters.
TGIF.
Yes.
Oh, those
Friday
good shows.
Night TV.
Yes.
Now there's nothing on Friday nights.
There's not. Well, there's a couple shows.
Yeah.
Mom and I watch Magnum P.I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing for the kids.
Nothing for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know what kids watch nowadays.
I don't think they do. I don't know.
They watch a
TikTok.
Yeah,
they watch TikTok. Or the CW. Yeah.
Anyway, so when we were teens, it was a lot of like upbeat high school, not drama, but like friendly drama,
like
high school.
You knew when the drama was happening because the music changed.
Yeah. Did you get on a cheerleading squad? Did you pass your test? There's
like you thought about smoking a cigarette once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend's pressuring you to kiss him.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, PG, romance.
Yes.
And so it was very okay to watch TV. Nowadays, like I said, we said CW TV.
Yeah.
It's very, like, steamy romance. Like, they're...
Or, like, violent.
Violence. There's a lot of action, a lot of fight scenes.
Horror.
Yeah, there's a lot of supernatural.
Yeah.
Like Riverdale. There's Nancy Drew. And she kind of solves the mysteries, but they're supernatural mysteries.
There's a new Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but it's not at all Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah, this is like adults sort of kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be scary. I don't think it's scary, but it could be scary, if you are sensitive to that kind of thing. And so
yeah, it's totally changed.
Yeah, maybe are desensitized to that
Have
sort of thing.
Here's the thing, and I don't think there's an answer to this. It's like a chicken or egg question. Did the teens change, or did the things that they consume, like books and movies and television and whatever, did those change first and then the teens changed because of that?
I think the teens changed because I was looking up books and like the evolution, like what books were popular in the 90s, what books were popular in like the early 2000s, and there was a shift, and I saw that there were books that evolved school shootings and like a shift in violence and that kind of thing. So I think teens are now more used to, sadly, used to violence and guns.
Our world is not as innocent as it used to be.
And so, TV is now more violent. And so, teens have changed. Columbine happened when I was a freshman in high school. Yeah. Or not a freshman, a sophomore, junior. So.
I mean, September 11th. I feel like maybe that's like a huge shift too. Like, as a sophomore in high school, like like our parents would always say they remember where they were when JFK was shot. Like, I will forever remember what classroom I was sitting in watching September 11th unfold on the TV. Yes. And I will remember which one teacher made us actually do classwork instead of watch the TV.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. There's just, like, the world has changed, and so therefore media has changed. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like sitcoms, like, not necessarily teenage ones, but just sitcoms in general, aren't what they used to be. Like, I have no desire to watch any sitcom that's on TV right now.
I don't think there really are any sitcoms. Those like half-hour, funny, like Friends.
The last one I watched was Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory.
It's gone.
There aren't many.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few.
Is the sitcom dying?
I think it really is dying. Is
Frasier coming back?
I've not heard.
I feel like that's a thing.
I would love the old Frasier. The old Frasier was amazing. Yeah. I would hate for somebody to reboot Frasier. There's always reboots. Yeah. This, I would say the 2010s had been the, age of the reboot. We've talked about reboots a lot on the podcast. And some have worked and some just really haven't. And I feel like they just throw ideas and it's terrible. I hate it. I hate these reboots. Yeah. I think there are no new ideas because sadly the world's been around for like 6,000 years.
That's why everyone keeps remaking Shakespeare. Yeah. You can probably trace everything back to Shakespeare.
Yeah. Probably.
What was that?
And Jane Austen. We've talked about
recently did a group that I'm part of did a little trivia thing, and one of the questions was, who invented the word puking?
Is it Shakespeare?
Yeah, it was Shakespeare. And I was like, it's gotta be Shakespeare. Like, he made up a ton of stuff.
Yeah. There was something else that sounded really modern, and it was from Shakespeare. Yeah. It always is. So, I mean, you can't make a new story. Yeah. Even if you tried. So
take it all back to Shakespeare.
Yeah. So, but give up the reboots, please. Just try.
Yeah.
Just try.
Well, because like what we were saying, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like I loved the original. I have zero desire to try the reboot. Like it looks.
I've watched the reboot, but if you go in thinking it's going to be like the original, you're in for. I mean, it is absolutely nothing like the original, except for the title. Absolutely.
That reminds me, I recently listened to an audiobook I'm not sure if the book is even out yet. I got an advanced copy. That's one thing that's awesome about being a librarian is you can get advanced copies of all this stuff. And as long as you post a review, like, I mean, they don't even check. Anyway, it's called Anne of Manhattan. And it's an
Oh, yes.
Anne of Green Gables retelling, but in modern days. And, like, instead of being in Canada and Prince Edward Island, she grows up, like, in the Hamptons, like, in a small town on an island, and then moves to Manhattan to go to college and whatever. And so it's, like, her reconnecting with Gilbert and whatever. And I read reviews before I listened to it, and people are like, this is nothing like the original. This is awful. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what you're going to think if you expect it to be like the original.
Did you like it?
I did enjoy it. It was cute.
Yeah.
But you have to absolutely not expect it to be... I would say the only thing that is the same are the characters and their relationship to one another. So, like, you have Anne, you have Marilla and Matthew, you have Rachel Lynde, Gilbert, Diana, Fred, Jane Andrews, Charlie, what's his name? So, like, you have...
Charlie, what's his name?
Yeah, he went to school with him, you know.
Okay.
I think Josie Pye is mentioned. So, like, you have all these characters that you recognize from the original books, but, like, they are completely different people. The story is completely different. It's more modern. It's more mature. Anne and Gilbert have sex. I know.
No.
More than once.
What?
Yes.
More than once?
Yes. No. And, like, yes, something happens to Gilbert and Anne thinks he blew her off until she finds out that something happened. Like, so, like, the basic bones are there, but, like, don't expect it to be cute Anne in a dress and Gilbert with a horse. Like, it's...
I mean, she's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That alone should let you know that
yeah. And it's modern. It's
Yeah.
it's going to be different. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Like,
Okay.
I went in with, like, trying to have an open mind. And so I feel like, yeah, all right, this is okay. I can read this.
Yeah, it's on my to-read list. It's marked.
No, I know. I can't think of a specific example, but, like, I've read other things where I was like, well, this was just terrible because you tried to retell a story, but you didn't really succeed in it. But I feel like this one did a pretty good job of that.
Okay. Good to know. I'm done with the reboot.
Yeah.
I really am.
But then every once in a while something comes along that makes you, like, curious. So they keep drawing.
Well, if it's a retelling, that's fine. But a reboot...
Yes.
A reboot to me is different than a retelling.
Yeah, like, they're rebooting Sex and the City again,
Yes.
but they're calling it something different. I don't remember what they're calling it.
Aren't they using the same people, though?
Except Kim Cattrall.
Oh, yeah, because she doesn't like
to.
it. Yeah, she doesn't like anybody.
Yeah.
And that's... Don't call that a reboot. Just say it's...
Yeah.
No.
And is that
Sex
even
and the City
necessary?
10 years later. Yeah.
Is it even necessary?
No,
like,
it's not.
Told all the stories
it's absolutely
they've told.
not.
No. Yeah.
That's just Golden Girls in New York. I mean, it's probably older than the Golden Girls. Because Golden Girls are like 40s and 50s. And I'm sure Sarah Jessica Parker is at least 50. If not
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
older than
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
That's one thing. I'm done with the YA reboots. That's it for TV.
Anything for us to... Do you have anything else for us to dive into?
No, we really rambled all over the place. So, no, that was it.
So,
I just had TV shows. I didn't have any
conclusion
movies.
is we don't know what's happened to YA, but it's not really for us anymore.
Yes. And we're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm totally okay
We
with that.
are of the age that it's time for us to move on.
Yeah. And either my perception of adult fiction has changed or adult fiction itself has changed. Because when I gravitated towards YA, I feel like there wasn't enough good adult fiction for me to read. But maybe I just wasn't looking for it.
I think it's kind of both. YA has changed, I think, a little
Mhm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot. I know you and I love World War II
Oh gosh.
history,
Yeah.
fictional history, and
Uh-huh.
there's just like every week there's a new historical fiction coming out that
and
I'm like,
oh my gosh, I've read some terrible ones.
I'm like, Carl and I, this is going to be Carl and I's right up our wheelhouse.
Uh-huh.
And I just think there's a lot more because I feel like 10 to 12, or not 10 to 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was just contemporary fiction
Mm-hmm.
or like mysteries.
There was chick lit. There was a lot of chick lit.
A lot of chick lit.
Yeah. Or James
lot of-
Patterson.
Or yeah, of course.
He's still there.
Yeah, he's going to be the ghost, like Gertrude
Yep.
Warner. There's going to be ghost James Patterson still
he
writing.
already is.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
in cryo.
Mm-hmm.
But I think fiction has changed. There's a lot. There's probably a lot of bad fiction out there because
Yeah.
people are just, publishing
Mhm.
fiction themselves.
Mm-hmm.
People are just publishing fiction just to get fiction out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lot of good ones, a lot of good historical now, not dry historical. And, there's more paranormal, sci-fi, fantasy
Yeah.
fiction out there.
Mm-hmm. And it's getting better.
And it's getting better. It's not just aliens in space. To me,
Yeah.
that's what sci-fi
Uh-huh.
used to be.
Uh-huh.
None
Yeah.
of those space operas.
Yeah.
I think fantasy has really become a genre people respect
Mhm.
and understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to blow off.
Mm-hmm. It's not just all Robert Jordan anymore.
Yes.
There's more good stuff.
Yes, there's a ton of...
Although I
well-known-
am curious about Robert Jordan.
Yes.
Like,
I've
I
always
might-
wondered.
I might enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah. But those books are so big.
I know.
That's why
I'm
I've
already
never-
committed to Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And the Sarah J. Maas. Those
Yes,
those
I'm
are
committed to those
big
two.
too.
Yeah.
They take time.
Yes.
I read one, and then I get our YA book club in there, and then on to the next.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the only books I read, the Sarah J. Maas ones and our YA, because I can't fit any other books in there because
Uh-huh.
that's all I have time for.
Uh-huh.
So, write smaller books, people.
Yeah.
Just split them up into...
Yeah. Then you could sell more.
Yes. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Financial advice from us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Any rants?
I
No,
don't think so.
not really.
I'm not feeling particularly ranty.
Not really.
No.
No,
Doing pretty well. Things
Yeah.
are looking up.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's either hot or rainy.
Yeah, it's
That's
raining a lot. I need to mow my yard, but I can't because it's going to rain like every day.
Yeah. We have like 15 days of rain, and then there's like 3 days of like extreme heat, and then
Yeah.
there's 8 days of rain, and then there's heat,
Mm-hmm.
and then 7 days of rain.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start building an ark.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then it'll be September.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these ramblings were
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, they kind of took any rantiness out of things.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. No.
All right. Good to see you in person.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. It's been it was March 2020.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah.
like March 16th.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, because or no, maybe the 15th.
15th or 16th.
I don't know.
Whatever that Sunday was.
Maybe it was Saturday. I don't know because
Saturday, Sunday.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Nope. It was mid-March.
So
And
it's
then
been 16 months.
Yep. And then I called you like a couple days later. And I was like, Carla, I have COVID.
And
So.
I was like, well, shoot.
Yeah, you were the only person other than my mom that I'd been in contact with. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, sorry.
But I'm fine.
You're fine. And now we're fine because we have vaccines and
got my shot.
Yeah.
Shots.
And now we're shots. And now we're in the same room together. And it's
amazing.
weird. It's weird.
I know.
And in half a month, no, what's today? I don't know. Something. And we're going to do trivia. And I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be so weird.
I seriously do think we're going to have to get there early.
Yeah, I can get there.
Because if, we are this excited, think about everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be there at 4:00
Okay.
if need be.
Okay. Take a book.
Yes.
Just sip on...
Ma'am, are you done with your table? No!
Sip on a cherry Coke.
Yes.
Order the cheese curds.
I will order as many cheese curds as I need to get...
Oh, that's a lot of cheese
They're
curds.
on Thursdays? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5th.
The 5th? Okay.
5th, August 5th.
I need to put that on my calendar.
Yes!
Yeah!
You contact Emily.
Yep.
And then we'll tie her up and beat her until she agrees to come to book club.
Okay.
Or at least to explain why she stopped coming to book club.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. This was a fun one.
Yeah.
Even though it was, I don't know if we barely talked about our topic. We did.
We did.
Yes.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Thanks for staying with us and listening to this weird podcast episode.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to our random thoughts and musings. Join us next time for more unpredictable conversations.
Thanks to all our supporters. Music credit, Fuzzball Parade, Kevin MacLeod, and Compotech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0.